Right. So we started with this data set with a view to understand it. So we looked through.
Sorry, ma'am.
Yes.
I think this a different data set
Is
from
it?
that of
Am I
yesterday.
am I showing something else? Okay, yes, I am. Sorry. Thank you for pointing that out, because that's what happens when you rush. I rushed in and just grabbed whichever data my mouse could grab. Okay, now this is the one. This is the right one. So we started with, trying to understand what this data set is about, which is one of the steps in your data analysis life cycle, understanding your data. We've spent quite some time on it, and I believe we've seen some other data sets as well. Okay, and we concluded that this is a data set where tickets for um, queries or inquiries made into the IT department. This data set keeps a record. So this is a record of such queries that people raise, that employees of a company raise to the IT department for their IT problems to be resolved. So we won't go too much into that. Then we said, let's take it a step further. And since we already have been using it and we understand what it's about, let's look for some questions that we could answer and just try to analyze, do a very simple analysis on it. So in the data set I sent forward, I added this page where the business objective or the business question or the problem that we need to solve is that we need to analyze the number of hours services were unavailable for. And we need to analyze this by year, by incident category, resolved service, resolution person, resolution team. We just want to understand how this number of hours, is distributed by these dimensions. We did talk about more on facts and dimensions. I remember that we started yesterday actually by picking out the dimensions, which was an assignment, and people, answered. We had two people contribute to that, and it was excellent answers that we got. So I believe we are getting a grasp of things gradually in our data work. Okay. Now, yesterday, we said when you want to analyze your data, this is a single entity data set, meaning that it's just got the one table. It's not multi-entity where you have many tabs here, So that makes life quite easy within the context of what we are doing now. As we grow, we would learn to not use one data set. We will learn to grow model. We'll learn to build and grow a data model by picking out dimensions from a particular table, and just um, ensuring that they talk to each other. Just silencing my phone. Okay. So yesterday we started to analyze this. And we said when you're analyzing, it's good to work within a table. So if what you have is just range, it's not been made into a table yet, it's nice to have that, your data set into a table. And how you do that is you click on anywhere within the data set, go to insert, and you see this table, click on it, or you can use Control T for table, and that would open a dialog box where you can indicate that you have column headers, so that I can pick these column headers for you as column headers. Okay, but this is already in a table format. As you can see, when you click out of this table, I want you to pay attention to table design here. When you click out, so I click out somewhere, that disappears. But when you click within, table design appears. So that's how you know that you are working within a table, context. Okay. So to analyze this, we use pivot table. Okay. So again, click in, insert, and we go into pivot table. Okay. You click on the pivot table, it brings that dialog box. If you want the pivot table to be put in another page or within the same page. We did say that we want it on another page, so we have it here. This is your pivot table, okay? Initially, this was empty for those that were not here yesterday. This was empty, and we had to go into the pivot table fields rather. All the fields are your headers here. All the ID, summary, status, and the rest of them. Those are what you have on this right-hand side, okay? So it's the pivot table fields. And I did say that one good practice is to go into these settings and sort it A to Z, sort it from A to Z, so that you can just easily pick. You're not looking for where is status, it's not scattered here and there. Okay, so you can easily, if I was gonna pick clients, I would know to come straight up. And if I was gonna pick write-up or summary or status, I would know to scroll down. So I'm not just flapping around. Okay. So what we did yesterday was we looked at the number of hours service was unavailable for. We looked at this by incident source. Okay, so if we look at the incident, the source of the incidents that the IT department were trying to resolve, okay, the number of hours that services were unavailable for is what we have here, okay. And I remember that when we dragged number of hours that services were unavailable for, when we dragged that to the values yesterday, it gave us count, which sort of caused a bit of confusion, because normally when you drag a numbers field to values, the normal default behavior of Excel is to sum it up, not count it. Okay. But again, different sometimes you meet up with different things within your different tools that you are going to be using. And it's good to quickly adapt yourself. What you expect sometimes, some things might just have changed. It could just be that Microsoft just decided to change that side of things, and when you come in newly into it, you were not aware. You would sort of wonder, okay? But in the end, we know to come into this little drop down here, and we looked at the things we have here. So if there were many of the different fields that were here, and you want to move them up or down, or to the beginning or to the end, between themselves, you can use this. These are grayed out because we only have one field on here, okay? If I wanted to move this to the filter section, okay, I will do that. To the row section, I will do that. And to the columns, columns is what you have here, where this is blocking it from view. Okay, but that's not what we want. If you wanted to remove it, okay, you can remove it from there or just uncheck it from here. Okay, but that's not what we want. What I want is this value field setting, okay, because this is where you can do all the aggregations that you want to do with this field value. Okay, if you want to sum it, you can do that. If what you want is count, you can count, and that would just count how many. So this is just counting how many queries fall within each section now. It's not summing the numbers of hours up, it's just counting. Okay, so where you have 2, 3, 4 hours, it's just seeing them as one. Okay. And what this tells me is that the total number of rows that we should have within our data set should be 48,219. That's the total number of queries. Okay. But this time that's not what we want. We want the sum. We want to know the total number, and you have other functions here, other mathematical functions, say average. If the question was saying find the average number of hours, then you will click on average and we can see that. And because we know, you see, average has division in it. Okay. And where you are dividing by 0, okay, if we don't put this in the context for this div 0 error, it's not error, but let's say it's flagged up. If we don't put some precautions in place for this not to happen, this would happen. Because normally if you divide by 0, you'll get an error. So I believe this is dividing by 0. That's why we are getting that. Okay. And if what you want is the maximum number of hours, okay, the maximum this is the maximum. That's not really, I don't believe that's completely putting things in the right context for us. Okay, the highest one would be this one. Okay, but I think it's just picking max, for each category. For me to actually do max, I just want to see the maximum of them all, not maximum within each value or each value field there. Okay. Again, minimum. Okay, seeing the most minimum within each as that. Okay. But let's return to our sum. Okay, there's other ones here, other statistical functions there, that you may need at some point, but not right now. So we'll maintain our sum, because what we are trying to look at is we want to analyze a number of hours that services were unavailable for. Now, this is by year. Okay, so if we go back here, what we have here at the moment is not by year. What we have is by incident source. Okay, so let's change. I'm just going to change this to incident source. Let's see if it will let me. Incident source rather than row label. Okay. Okay, it allows me to do that. So we can see that this is incident source, and it's all right to actually also add a title on here, like on top there. You may want to add a title and say number of hours service was unavailable for by incident source. You can add that there just to identify this pivot table. Okay. Yesterday we were looking for how to sort these by in descending order, that is by highest being on top and lowest being below. And when I was playing around with this, I saw this here. It looks different to me. The last time I did this, this was not the way to do it. But again, you have to play around within these tools to get accustomed to it, and to also notes if there has been any updates that has been done to it. So I found that you can sort A to Z, and A to Z is not going to sort these numbers. I believe it's just going to sort these incident source in alphabetical order. Now let's look at that. Okay, if I say A to Z, we can see that sorts in alphabetical order, but these are not normal in quotes. Okay, that's why, because that's in bracket. It's blank for B and B, but it's in brackets, so it's giving priority to the actual ones that can be really sorted like that first. And if we say Z to A, so it puts that the other way around now, just using this incident source field. Okay, But if you go into more sort options now, it brings this dialog box, okay? And if I click on manual, does it let me, manual, you can drag items to rearrange them, okay? Then it doesn't let me click on here, okay? So ascending, if I wanted ascending, this lights up, okay? And it's asking me if I want to use incident source or the other field, sum of hours service unavailable for. Okay, let's check what this will do. Remember that this is sorting ascending now. That's smallest to highest. Okay, I click on that and you see it sorts all of the small from 0 to the highest number there. Okay, if we go back into that more sort options and we decide to go for descending, and it's retaining sum of number of hours, okay? So if I say I want to sort by descending, so it brings that, okay? And if we want to format, we might want to format this because it's not really very easy to read these numbers. So let's see if we can add a 1,000 separator from there. So you can easily see the number of hours. If we remove that, you will need to look closer, isn't it? You will need to look closer to be able to read that as 1,204,000, and so on. Let me undo what I just did. Okay. So I would have been looking at that and spending extra. That looks more to me without the comma. It looks more to me like 120, 120, 400. So I could easily mistakenly read that as not as up to 1,000,000 there until I saw the comma. So it's nice it's a nice to have, having the comma it's good. So you can get that, from here. And sometimes it may not be necessary to have the decimal number part of things. Okay. You may want to tidy that one up and just have whole numbers, as such, as so. Okay. Now, again, it could be that you don't want your analysis to be shown just as a pivot table. You may decide to go an extra mile of representing this in a chart. Okay. Okay. So if you want this in a chart, you can just click in and we go into insert. Okay. So insert is always a very necessary. Most of the buttons or functions you have within insert, very necessary to come into insert to get them. Okay. Now we have the under now in this segment here under charts. There's different segments, but what we need is under charts. You can see your various options. Okay. You can decide to go into recommended charts. What charts are recommended? Okay, it goes straight for column chart. Okay, it goes straight for column chart. And that's not surprising. Yes, let's pick that as a starter. It's not surprising because can you see 1,204 is far. It's really, really, way too much compared to the rest. Okay, and at a glance, which would you easily pick um, when you are comparing these figures? Which easily tells you the incident source with the highest number of hours being unavailable. It's very glaring. You can see from the bar. The rest are almost non-existent. Can you see? We can hardly see them. Okay. So I don't think I would want to use this chart because the highest there, the way it's evens out the rest of them is not really nice. It's like they are not even existing at all. So I would not want to use this chart to represent something, like this, only because it's the highest is too way far off, for the other ones to actually even show that they are there at all. Okay, so you might actually be better off showing this in this table. Okay, or we can decide to look for more. I'm just going to delete that. We can decide to look into more charts. Okay, go into recommended still. Okay, if we pick this, what would it look like? That's still the same. This is not very helpful. Okay, at least this is the 3D clustered column is showing something a little better than the other one. Okay, how about a bar? A bar. So the difference between a column is like we have been mentioning columns. Let me cancel this. The way I remember column charts and bars. You see, each of these is a column, and they are just on a long straight line from top to bottom, like that. Okay. So the other way, bars, they are like they are horizontal, they are sleeping. Okay. So that's the way I picture that in my mind to be able to differentiate between the two. So this is what a bar chart would look like. It's the other way around, where a column chart is running from top to bottom. A bar chart is running from left to right, like that. And we can see. So these two, the column charts, let me actually talk about comparison analysis while we are here. Okay. Okay. So these two charts are very good, for, I'm just going to block this for a second. Okay. These two charts are very good for comparing between categories. They are good for doing what we call comparison analysis, where you are comparing between two or more um, um, fields, using a value to compare between two or more fields. Because, I mean, this is not the best of examples, but had it been what we had for maybe email was maybe about 1 million and web was about 800,000, can easily see from the bar, without looking at numbers, anyone looking at such type of chart can easily see which is ranking highest, which is the lowest, which is which, and from the length of each of their bars, you can easily see how they are doing just at a glance. Okay. So those two are good for comparison analysis. Again, it's necessary to use the right type of chart for the right type of analysis. Okay, and we'll see more of that. So I'll leave this as a table for now, not using any chart. When we see a better example, then we'll do more of charts. Okay. Well, if we are to before I continue, just very quickly, was anyone able to have a go at this business objective, from the little that we did yesterday? Did you have a bit of practice, and how did you find it? If anyone did, please let me know. No one? Okay, now this is what we'll do, because we have to we have to commit to our assignments. It's very important. If not, the things we do in class or say in class, we will easily forget them, So we need to make the 1 hour, which is not convenient for everyone because you've been up and doing since morning, up and running, and you're back here for within this time to learn this. Okay. So we've got to make it count. And the way to make it count is not just by being present in class, but also finding time within that, time that's not really there to look at assignments and do them. That's the only way I believe that this can work, that we can be successful and really take value out of the class. Okay, so we are going to have to repeat this assignment. I'll do more in class now for us to see how this can be done. And I would expect us to bring our classwork to class tomorrow, if that's all right. Is that all right by everyone? Please unmute and respond.
Yes, that's totally fine by me. I actually didn't see the questions yesterday, and that's why I probably, I thought we're going to do it in class and not as an assignment. Sorry.
No, no problem at all. No problem at all. So we'll do it in class now, and then everyone will go practice and see how they are fared with it. Is how we'll go by that. So I've had one response. Can I get more, please?
Yeah,
It's
the
very
class
good,
was
ma'am.
good.
Thank you,
Yeah,
ma'am.
it's all right. That's gonna be all right by each and every one of us. Yeah, I think I
Yes.
had two more
Definitely, ma'am.
voices. Okay, perfect. So how many are we in class now? I can't really see us. So
6.
that 6, okay, so that I'll know how many assignments, we are. As a matter of fact, we are going to spend tomorrow actually explaining this, even if it's just 5 minutes, each one of us has. That's what we are going to do. So let me speed this up so that you can know. And thank God we are recording as well. So I'm happy. Okay. So now that we've done the first pivot table, we need to do analysis by year now. Okay. So let me, like what I said before, I'm going to trying to remember this part. So yeah, margin center, that's the one. So what I want to do is I want to expand these two cells and match them together so that I can put the title of this particular pivot table here. So we know what this analysis is about. Okay. So I'm dragging the two cells together, and under home, we have that margin center. Okay. So I'll just click on that. And can you see the two have, can you see the grid line is very faint, this gray grid line that's up here? We don't have it anymore here because it's like I've removed the division between the two cells, and now it's one cell. Okay, so that when I type my title in, it would look nice. It would just be squinched within one cell. Okay, so I'm gonna say that this is a number of hours services unavailable for. So number of hours service unavailable for by incident source. Okay, by incident source. Okay, so we can decide to bolden that up so that it shows us and we can decide to color it under font. You can decide to do whatever you want to do with it. Okay, yeah, let's use a nice color. Okay, and maybe increase it a little bit so that it actually shows up as a title. Okay, so that is sorted. Okay, now we will always need to work within a pivot table for analysis in Excel. Not always, but yeah, what we are doing now, we need to. Okay, so your option would be, how we were within the data and we said insert and then pivot table. Okay, so rather than coming here to do that every time you need a pivot table, we can always copy this particular one So I'm just gonna copy this, which is I'm copying using Control C. Okay. And I'll look for a nice space here to put it. Okay. But I'll put it below here and I'll do Control V to paste it. Okay. So I've pasted exactly the same thing. So when I'm here, you can see, because I pasted exactly the same thing, we still have incident source. If you look here, we still have incident source, you know, as what we have here. But our question we need now, it says that we should do it by year. Okay, so I will return the sum of number of hours because that's what we are still needing. Okay, but I don't need incident source anymore. So I'll remove incident source. I can uncheck it here, or I can drag it out. You see, I can drag it out like that. Okay. When I did that, we only have the total number of hours that incidents were unavailable for. But now I need the year. Okay, so let's look for year here. Do we have year at all? We don't have year, but we
Yes,
have,
we have year.
we do. Okay, so we have resolution year. Which other year? You see, again, you can search for a field by using the search bar here as well, in case you have too many and you can't really find what you're looking for. Okay. So is there any other year apart from that resolution year? Is that the only one?
Yes, that's the only one. We don't have any other.
Okay.
Yeah, there
We do
won't be
have a
anyone.
date though. The dates that these complaints were logged on. Okay, let's see what that will give us.
Yes, we have date, but not year.
So, okay. What's happening? Come on. It's not responding. Let's wait for it to respond. Don't know what I clicked. So sometimes when the dates column, it does split itself to, you know, within a date, you have the day, the month, and the year. Sometimes the dates you can get the year from the dates, you know. So I just wanted to drag that in and see how it's gonna come up so we know if we can get year from there or if we are going to stick with, oh, okay. So you see, this is what I was saying about. Okay, can you see what happened here? I dragged logged on was what I needed. That's why it took a bit of a time to respond. It was working on dividing the date into months and then months and months, quarters. What else has it divided? And years. Okay. Now, again, it depends on what you want. Sometimes you may want exactly the dates, like where it says 01/02/2022, 01/03/2024. If that's what you want, and it has gone on to divide into years, quarters, and all of that, immediately you drag it on and it does that. Just do Control Z to remove that. Just do Control Z to immediately to remove all of that so that it brings the date for you. Okay. Now I didn't respond to my Control Z. What I can do now is remove every field I don't want here. You see where it says yes, logged on, quarters logged on, months logged on, and then the logged on, the date itself. Okay. Whichever one I don't want here, I can drag it out. I don't want the date for this analysis, so I'll drag that out. Okay. Before I even do dragging out, it's good to see this plus. It's good to see to expand. Okay. What you see here, you know, the each year into quarter, then you can expand the quarter as well. And then you can see the months. Okay. So again, it depends on what you are working at. We just need a year. Okay, so I'll drag the quarter out. We don't want quarter, and we don't want month as well. I'll drag the month out. So we are left now. We are only left with 2022 and 2023. And we should not forget to change this to year. You know, we copied a particular pivot table before. Okay, so we can see now between 2022 and 2023, we lost more hours when service was unavailable. We lost more to 2023. Okay, so this is where, again, if we had more data to work with, we will look at what caused this spike from 87,000 in 2022 to over a million thousand to over a million in 2023. If you notice something before, I don't think we had full year of data for 2022. Let me drag back months so that we'll see if we can get a bit of an insight into why we have that massive. There's even week as well. It even did week for us. Okay, let me put month back. Okay, can you see? We only had 3 months. So it was the last quarter of 2022 that there was record for. Okay, but for 2023, if we expand it, yeah, you see, if we expand 2023, we had more months of reports of data captured. Okay, so that's a good explanation there for if somebody was asking you, how come 2022 was just this and 2023 has given us so much? Well, we're comparing 3 months to like 8 months. So there's bound to be difference, okay? So although the difference is still a lot, okay, so there are other factors now that we have to then start digging down to see, was it because we changed some of the way we work within IT? Was it because we didn't service some of our computers? Was it because we 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 changed some of our contracts and some third party that we now use we're not very efficient? Okay, so you can easily use whatever you found within your analysis to make decisions going forward if you don't want a repeat in 2024 and beyond. Okay, but I'll remove the months because that's not, we were just curious to see why such a big difference between the 2 years. And we at least we saw a bit of an insight into that. So I'll take that the month out, we retain the year. Okay. Now, if we want to show these in a chart, we click within the pivot table. Okay. And we go into insert. Let's see within the recommended. So it's showing us, because we are comparing, isn't it? It's showing us that we can use this, and we've seen how this works before. Anyone can easily see, looking at this, anyone can easily see that 2023 recorded the most, within this. Again, that's our comparison analysis, okay? But I'm thinking that why don't we use, because it's just the 2 items we are comparing, why don't we use something like a pie chart or a donut chart, okay? A pie chart, I believe, captures it well. Okay. But I prefer donut chart only because of the beauty of it. Nothing more than that. So under pie chart, we have this donut chart. Okay. Or this one, I use this more. Is the 3D, it said 3D pie chart, but yeah, you can use that. Okay. And you can use the actual donut chart, whichever one you want. Where is it again? Pie and donut. Okay. I love donut chart. Okay. And for pie, I would rather use this than this, only because it's 3D. It brings some more effects, to your report. The 3D effect is what I'm after for this one. Okay. And the simplicity of this as well. Okay. And when we get to the point where we can actually look at how to really format this, change the colors up. Okay, but for now we won't spend time on that. To see how you get your dashboard looking eye-catchy in a nice way, such that you can use the kind of colors maybe that they use at work, that's more peculiar to your brand, okay, and not just the default colors that they put there. I believe we'll see a bit of that. But yes, we can easily see from any of these three charts, okay, and each of them is giving us a key as to which color is which year, okay. You can easily see that 2023 is the year where things really went on rampage. Okay, I think I'll retain these. I'll retain that and you know, okay. We can create a new tab where we'll arrange everything in the end. Okay, so let's remove grid line. Trying to remember where do page layout. Yes, we can remove the grid so that we have oh, how time flies when you're easy. So that we have this plain background there, you know, and I can bring this. So I'm gonna cut that. I'll cut this and paste it here. Okay, again, you can use your control paste. Okay, and that can stay there for a second. We've not really formatted anything. Okay, and again, we can put a title there so that we know what this chart is about. Okay, again, we can merge and center and say this analysis by year. Okay, let me merge and center first. So I'm just gonna copy this and just paste here and change that to year by year. Okay, so let's do incident category. We can copy any of these pivot tables. I think I'll still copy this. You can do this as well. Doesn't matter which one. And I'll just move away a little from that one and paste it here. Okay. And what I need now is incident category, not incident source. Okay. And that's my incident category there. Okay. We can see how that merge and center again and give that the title. So copy paste and change that to incident category. Okay, and the next one, resolved service. So let's do that one more. Again, I'm gonna copy and paste. I can put this below here. Control V that. And we are looking at resolved service now. So let's change this to resolved service. Resolved service, this one. Okay, so I just picked. Oh, that's a long one. Oh my goodness. Okay, why not? Okay, so this one is a really long one. Okay, now I've got, this is data quality issue. I've got blanks. Okay, I've got 0. Okay, let's change this to resolved service. Okay, so that we know what we are dealing with. This is here. We didn't change this. So let's change this to incident category as well. Okay. All right. So you see, I'm just copying and pasting each of the pivot table, any one of them, you know. The next one, resolution person. Okay, so we can try and create space. Let me see if I can fit resolution person into here. Control C, Control V. And to bring that, I closed the pivot field. So to bring that back, just click within one of the pivot tables, right click. And we use this one, this last one says show the field list. And that brings it back for us. Okay. So we need a resolution person now. I'll take out the year, and this is the resolution person. So it's this one here that we need. And we can put that as resolution person. Okay. And of course, we can go the length of doing this and just copying and pasting Control V resolution person. Okay. This could be because you want to see, I don't know how many hours each of these resolution people made services unavailable for. You may want to look at their efficiency. Okay, are they not treating tickets on time? Do they need more training? Okay, what's their attitude to work? Why are we losing so many hours on this person, and in so year as well? Okay, so it goes beyond just comparing within two. We can decide to, because we haven't used filters or columns, we've just been using these two. And it's all right to stay within these two parts for now. But I think maybe by tomorrow we'll see how we can introduce columns and filters into our work. Resolution person, and the last one is resolution team. So I think it's all right to quickly put that last one in as well. I'm just going to copy the last. Actually, I'll copy this. Control C. I'll bring that resolution one to the side here. So okay. Let's bring back the field list. Okay, and I need not the year, is the resolution team. Okay, that's it there. And that's the team. Okay, and we can change this to resolution team. Now, all these pivot tables we have done with a view to create the right type of chart, with them and arrange them nicely on here. Format them and arrange them nicely on here. This would be our dashboard page. Okay, so we are going to work to design this page nicely, format each of the charts that we make from these ones, and try to then make sense of everything that we put together here. That, okay, for the year coming, which categories should we spend more money on, such that we can have reduced service unavailable. We want to reduce the number of hours that services within our organizations are unavailable for, because people can't access their emails, or they can't, they have problems IT wise. Okay. And what we want is that immediately a ticket is raised within the same, maybe within 10 minutes, where we were spending 1 hour before, within 10 minutes it's resolved, within 30 minutes it's resolved, such that when we bring our records together for the coming year, we will see an improvement. And if we don't, again, what then can we do? Does that make realistic sense to us?
Yeah, it does.
Thank you. Is there any part of what we did today that is not, that you don't understand at all, that you need more help with? Because you are going to be doing this assignment, and we are going to
I
explain
actually have
ourselves
a
more.
question.
Okay, please go for it.
It's not as if I do not understand,
Okay.
but I saw something that caught my attention during the time the first pivot table that we created.
Yeah.
That's for the I can't remember the name now.
This one, incident source.
Yes, the incident source. So we have all these numbers here.
Yeah.
So the period when you came to home and added this please can you please go to home on your screen?
Home. Yeah.
So you added this comma button.
Right.
So when
It.
you added it, I
Yeah.
found out that the table settings changed from numbers to accounting.
Okay. Here, you mean?
Yes, it changed to accounting. So
Okay.
and in the last class, you mentioned that our table type is very important to align with what we are doing.
Yes, it is.
So I want to ask, the change in that frequency, I hope it won't in any way affect what we are doing.
Well, right now I see it, all I see is a custom that we've customized it. Okay. So as long as the field that it has changed to, it shouldn't really be changing. But the field that it has changed to is within the concept of numbers. Accounting is still numbers. Currency is still numbers. Number is still number. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And the essence of all this being seen as such is such that when you add, it can add. When you divide, it can divide, because that only happens with numbers. Okay. So as long as I'm working within the currency, within the context of any data type that is a number, I believe we are fine. Okay.
All right, ma'am.
So, but then, I mean, nothing stops us from coming here and changing it to number. Okay, we change it back to number. It still has the decimal places, okay, that you don't want, and remove it, and it still retains the number. Okay, so if that changes, just conform it back to what you really want. Okay.
No problem. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome, sir. Number format. This is another way to another place to go to and format your number, really. So under number, I want 0 decimal places, and I want the comma separator. That comma is called thousand separator, sorry, is the one that separates your thousands. And if I okay that should do it. Okay. So again, the beauty of all these tools is that there's many ways of achieving the same thing. So if one way is being stubborn, in quote, because when I was trying to use the other way, use this, it was just giving me whatever. But when I came in and just right clicked, okay, when you right click, you have format cells or number format. If you format the cell, It means that even when you don't use the cell for numbers, you have formatted it to conform to what you are doing. So it's best to use format number. It's the number you want to format, not the cell. Okay, so number format, and you can come here and, change it the way you want. If it was currency, you can conform it, change it the way you want. If it's currency and you want the pound symbol or any other currency symbol there, okay, you can change it there. If it's accounting, you can do that. If it's dates, time, you can do many more within your number format functions, than just within what we have here. Does that help?
Thank you so much, Mai. It does.
You're welcome, sir. You're welcome. So are we confident then that by tomorrow you'll be able to at least produce as much of these pivot tables that we have here as possible? And you'll show your work in class, even if you can't over explain it. I will need us to actually showcase that, yes, we have done this. That's the way that I'll be able to measure progress in class.
We should be able to do that, ma'am.
Okay.